Hey guys, what's up? It's the Merc
And the Lich Lord.
here for Bullshit Games, and tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about some games of Infinity we just played.
Yep, we played two games. First one was Combined versus Aleph, I believe. Yep. And the second one was Ariadna versus Nomads.
Yep.
Both were good games.
And I have to say, I think one of the coolest things about the system is we can play two games in a night.
Yes.
Really, if we really wanted to, after the video, we could play another one, but I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. I gotta get up early tomorrow and work and all this stuff. But anyways, unfortunately,
adult responsibilities. Jeez,
they always come in the way of my gaming. Just can't stand it, man.
But anyway, the Aleph combined game was a 200-point game. I know that's kind of a weird point limit, but we wanted to try a beginner-level game for those two armies, and it felt like 200 points was the best starter point limit for those two armies.
Yeah, both those armies are pretty expensive. Like, for instance, my Quarantid Lieutenant is like 82 points, I think. 81 or 82 points or something like that alone. So in order to get 150, I mean, that's like a whole quarter of your army almost. So
yeah, and like I know in Aleph, like Ajax is 43 points, and the Ekerdroma is really expensive.
Yeah.
I think he's 40-some points. A lot of guys like kind of fall in that 40-some point range.
Yeah, which, I mean, you can kind of tell when you're playing the game because guys tend to do more when they do activate, and their weapons are a little bit more powerful. At the same time, there's a certain amount of, I mean, just having those extra borders really adds a lot to the game, and also just having more stuff to play with. Feels like it's more rounded, kind of.
So, why don't we talk about that game first?
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the Ariadna Nomad Massacre.
Well, I kind of got massacred in the first game, though, to be fair.
You kind of did.
I almost brought it back. I wouldn't say brought it back. I made it a little bit more even at the end, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But all through the game, I pretty much got, not completely hosed, but it is pretty much a beatdown.
Well, I mean, you did surprise me when you put that wound on Ajax and took his V no wound incapacitation away.
Yeah.
So I guess
we can go through our lists, I guess.
Yeah, like my Aleph list was Ajax was my lieutenant. I had a Deva hacker, brought a Dakani Takbot. I had a Naga, who was just a regular Naga, nothing special. I had the Ekerdromos with an HMG. And I had the Daziu, which if I said that wrong, I apologize, who had a sniper rifle, multi-sniper rifle.
I had a Quarantid for a lieutenant. I'm looking at my sheet here. I didn't memorize it like you did.
Cheater.
I have two Morats, a Kurgat, which is an engineer who has an autocannon, which is really interesting to use, even though he got killed right away. But the autocannon is pretty awesome because it has both armor-piercing and explosive rounds. So if you do hit, you're pretty likely to take something out. I also had a Vector Operator, which had a HMG, and I had a Datarazi, which is pretty much just a hand-to-hand unit type of thing. Which that's pretty much where the action started in this game.
Yeah, I think. Learned this game that, first of all, we used a piece of terrain that we haven't used in a long time, which was a lot. It's a very good line of sight blocker, and it's a bunch of corridors, and
it's just kind of like a big labyrinth, pretty much. I mean,
it's like the inside of a ruined warehouse, I guess.
I mean, it has big, thick walls that there's no way to see through, and there's kind of like zigzags. There's a lot of areas to get cover, and there's a lot of areas where you can't be seen. And even if there was a higher vantage point, there's a lot of stuff you can hide behind. It was a great piece of terrain, I think, for this game.
And that piece of terrain was the piece of terrain that the Ajax Pain Train just rolled through.
Well, it started with the Datarazi. And pretty much what happened was I moved him up into the piece of terrain. And, Ajax came in rolling in. And,
I charged him.
I charged him because I was kind of behind, I was in front of a rock and a hard place. Between a rock and a hard place. Because he had one person there that was going to get an arrow on me. And Ajax would have gotten an arrow on me. And then I just decided, instead of taking both AROs, I'd just charge Ajax and at least try to put a wound on him, which I did. And then got blown into little bits by a giant hammer.
Explosive close combat weapons are amazing.
That and Berserk. I think Berserk is where it is.
Well, and Natural Born Warrior, really, because it took away all your martial arts
and all that. And he pretty much killed me there in one swing.
He only killed 2 guys, though, didn't he? Ajax? Yeah, he only killed 2 guys. It wasn't It wasn't like an unstoppable pain train.
No, it's not like it was. I mean, it was a pain train.
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 But I got kind of lucky then. Hit him with a plasma cannon on an ARO.
Yep. I found out that snipers are pretty good. I really liked having a sniper on the board this time, and I think because it had TO camo, which is a pretty good ability.
Yeah.
And
it gives
had
you
infiltration.
+6, I think.
Yeah, you're -6 to hit, and you can deploy anywhere up to the middle line of the board, and your opponent doesn't know where that model is. So that was pretty nice.
Something I learned: combat drop. Beware of that, because he dropped a guy right behind me and almost killed my lieutenant. He did 2 wounds on my lieutenant. Well, no, you critted him.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, I did. I hit you 3 times. You saved 1, and I did 2.
And only because he had
no wound incapacitation.
He was able to survive that, which was, that pretty much would have been, was like right at the beginning of the game too.
Yeah,
so it would have been pretty rough. It would have even been worse than it already was.
See, the thing I like. The only thing with combat drop is it's kind of a one-trick deal. Once you've done it to someone, they learn. Except this guy didn't. But
well, second dude. Completely forgot about
I don't think there was really any other like cool moments in that game aside from the witch soldier running in and being like, I got this. Nope.
Well, the Quarantid is really good in hand-to-hand, but it's not as good as Ajax. I mean, you were hitting automatic.
Yeah.
Because
you get +9 with Berserk.
Yeah. So, and he's already at like 18 close combat.
Yeah.
So you just hit.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's some way you automatically fail, which I don't think there is in this game.
No.
If there is, let us know.
Yeah.
We don't know these.
Because we don't know. We don't. But that was that game, and you could definitely feel it was like 2 elite forces versus 2 elite forces.
Yes, yeah.
And it was a good game. And then the second game, it was Nomads versus Ariadna. And I'm just gonna say I ran completely the wrong list against Ariadna, and as soon as I tell you guys this, probably everybody watching that's played will go, yeah, that was a bad choice. I took a Securitat, which was my lieutenant. I had a moderator from Bakunin, and I had an Alguacil. And then I had 2 zeros. One was a hacker with anti-personnel mines, and the other one was toting around a deployable repeater and an E-Mauler. So you can already see that this list was pretty much geared towards like anti-remotes, anti-tags, anti-heavy infantry. I also had a Sin Eater Observant with an MK-12, a Mark 12 rifle. And I had the Linocoid remote with the 2 crazy quals.
Yep. I had Line Kazakh Lieutenant, 2 other Kazakhs, however you say it. Highlander Grey, who had twin shotguns. Veteran Kazakhs, who has a nice AP rifle, which is extremely good. A Chaucer, and a Tac Hunter with the adhesive launcher, which was interesting and kind of confusing. Yeah. And I got to use for the first time.
I actually got to use Climbing Plus on my remote. That was pretty cool.
He got the veteran Kazakh kind of screwed his day up.
Yeah.
But you did get to use the flamer and scared the crap out of me because I thought my Chaucer was just going to die.
Which, this was the point where the dice showed me that this game I wasn't going to do well. Because I didn't flame royal the Chaucer alive.
Well, I dodged.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then, what happened after that? Oh, you shot the remote with the Lion Kazakh.
The Lion Kazakh, the veteran Kazakh shot him with the AP rifle.
My E-Mauler Zero ran up, dropped the E-Mauler at one of the entrances to the warehouse, and then failed to kill the guy in arrow that shot at her. And then my lieutenant got glue gunned.
Yeah, which was interesting. And we're actually not sure exactly how that works. We think we know how it works. But basically, if you get hit by that and you don't have an engineer, which neither of us had engineers, pretty much, that model's pretty much out of the game at that point, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
If there is something like physique rolls you can make there or something like that, we couldn't find the rules. But there might be something that viewers who are more of a veteran, have more experience playing this game, might know. Let us know, because we're not sure if we did it right, but as far as we could tell, it was right.
Yeah. These games were a little bit more fun than the other games we had.
They were less chaotic because it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
And we were able to, just communicate what we were trying to do and be like, hey, what are the rules?
Because last time we played, we had 2 games going on a table that was split in half.
Yes. And let's just say Friday night game group, we're loud people.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking loud. We're having different conversations going on at one time.
Yeah.
People are looking at different rules and trying to figure things out that are different at the same time.
Yeah.
Some people might not be that interested in the game, and you got to deal with that. So it was just nice to be able to sit down, just the two of us, and figure some of the stuff out that we were not exactly sure how it worked. And both the games are extremely fun.
Oh yeah, I still feel we need more terrain.
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel that we need more, not destroyed buildings.
Yes, we need just some
apartment blocks and things
futuristic
like that.
looking buildings that are not like ancient buildings that are just from Sci-Fi. Yeah,
not this.
They're 40K. I mean, this is 40K terrain basically.
Yeah,
so.
Not that.
But we did change our rules up. If you watched last week, you know that we talked about this terrain we have and how basically you can see through every single thing. We made it so that you couldn't see through windows
unless you were
base to base with a window, and that's either way. So you can see out where you can see in, which that made it quite a bit nicer.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of rooms. There's still a lot of areas. The whole back of the buildings are gone.
Yeah.
So it's real easy just to sneak around and get behind somebody.
Yeah.
But I think it worked. It did help though.
Things I learned. I want to get the support packs for both my factions. I want doctors and engineers.
Yes. Yeah.
I definitely think if I'm going to go remotes, I want an engineer to fix them when they get broken.
Mm-hmm.
Or try to anyway. And I just think a doctor would be nice to have to really. I feel that it's elements of the game we haven't explored yet.
And I think it really changed the dynamic, because then you have people who have fallen over where you have the possibility of reviving them.
Yeah.
So that would definitely change quite a bit. And we should start playing with objectives. I mean, I think we're to the point where we know the rules good enough where we can play a game and just start.
And I think you and I, the next time we play, we can probably start playing the way you're supposed to, where the only things that the enemy brought is what you would know.
Right.
Looking at it. Yeah, if I bring combat drop guys, I don't tell you I have combat drop guys.
Right.
I think we're to the point now where we can start doing that.
Where we just, we're not completely blindsided. I have what is this rule? I never even heard of this.
Where you have all the nasty little surprises, that actually are surprises.
That's a big thing I learned with combat drop. Always keep a guy that's kind of looking back.
Yeah,
that can at least get an ARO if they do land back.
I almost feel if you have the support weapon cost to afford, just buying one of your basic light infantry guys with an HMG, wouldn't be a bad idea to defend your back zone from the airdropping shenanigans.
Yes, definitely.
We're getting to the point where we're thinking about tags.
Yep.
Which means games are going to go up to 300 points here quickly. It's what we do. We don't know restraint or moderation at all.
You buy 1 or 2 things? No. Entire army. At least this isn't like other games where you just spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. You can buy new stuff for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So
the nice thing about this game is it plays quickly. And even the second game we played, where after turn 2, I kind of knew I wasn't going to win. It doesn't make you upset.
Right. It's not like War Machine.
And there's no
rage and peace.
There's no moment in War Machine where you're just lose my shit right now.
There are moments where you get frustrated, but it just doesn't get to the point where you want to just quit playing the game.
And I think the biggest reason for that is the reaction order.
Yeah.
I think being able to respond to what your opponent's doing is huge.
There's always the possibility that you might get a really lucky ARO and crit somebody, or anything like that, and completely turn the game around.
Yep.
Or just really maneuver around and get good rolls, and you never know what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Where, let's face it, War Machine, you're getting the beat down when it's not your turn, regardless. Yeah. There isn't anything you can try to do to stop it. So.
But that is the second batch of games for us here at Infinity Month. Now, I will say mostly the armies you will hear us talk about are Aleph and Nomads for me.
Combined, and Ariadna for me. So.
Because those are the factions we've settled on.
Yeah. We can tell you what it's like if we play with the group again. we can tell you what it's like more to play against Pano Shan.
Pano,
but,
yeah.
Other than that,
Like, the one thing I noticed between us tonight compared to the games against Pano the other night is we're a lot worse at shooting than Pano is.
yeah,
Like all of
good
them.
at shooting.
Yeah. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Yep, I think so.
Like I said, finals are finally over. Hurrah.
Yeah. The semester is over for both of us. So
I'm going to be trying to do some painting next week, and that will hopefully show up on the channel.
Yep.
And hopefully you guys like the video. Again, if there is something you can do about an adhesive launcher without an engineer, let us know down in the comments.
Yep.
Um,
Anything else that we talked about that might have been wrong, you just let us know. Because we are still new at this.
Here's a fun question for you guys that play Infinity. What are your favorite engineers for the factions we play? Or doctors. I don't know if there's more than one doctor for our faction.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I know there's more than one engineer, at least for Nomads. So if you guys know anything about Aleph, Nomads, Ariadna, or combined, and you want to tell us some cool engineers to go with or whatever, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
And, hopefully you guys, if you liked it, give us a little like, share, subscribe. And we'll see you next time here at Bullshit Games.